We're just going to wing it here on the Happy Camper Podcast. And so here we are.
You're hosting, but we're all going to wing it.
We're going to wing it. And that's okay. We normally have a little bit more of a plan, but and I say a little bit more of a plan, I mean, not a lot of research goes into this.
I put hours.
I mean, but this one...
having issues with my chair.
We're just going to see where this goes. I do have some... I have a couple ideas.
All right.
But I don't know how long this will take. Here's a thought, though.
Find out.
We're getting close to summer now, first of all. First things first. We are getting dangerously close to summer.
Which is really scary because I got a lot to do.
Yeah, me too.
I don't. I'm good.
He knows good.
I'm ready.
Yeah, he's fine. Ready
Kevin's
to go.
taking care of everything. Right now, he's building JBC and
We're podcasting.
While I'm talking about it.
Well, we're talking about JVC. He's building it.
Yes.
But if you've not signed up for summer camp yet, now is the time. We still have some space. Look at those weeks. Ask questions. Ask mom and dad, whatever. But we would love to see you here. And then if you have friends, like, hey, invite them. Come. Now's the time. Not too late. So sign up now. Looking forward to an awesome summer. Yes, we have lots to do, but we're looking forward to an awesome summer. Yeah.
If we don't, we'll still have camp.
We'll still have camp, and you probably won't even know if we got it done or not. To be honest with you, some of it you might be like, that was different.
They need that thing right there.
They need that.
One thing I wanted to mention was the fact that because the Happy Camper is so big in Qatar,
huge.
We are actually going to carry it through for the summer. So we're actually going to do a little bit different format. So the Friday morning Good Morning Show. I have a lot of different names that we've gone by. The Rise and Shine Show, the Rise and Sean Show. Yep. Different things. It's actually going to be the Happy Camper, and we're thrilled to announce that it's no longer just Chris and myself. Noah is going to join us for the show during the summer. He always wants to. He walks in the parking lot. He's like,
honestly,
hey guys.
My favorite part of having Noah is that'll give me more time to eat biscuits and gravy.
There you go.
He can talk.
Actually, we're not saying anything. I'm just going to talk the whole time.
Noah can just talk, and I can eat as much as I want.
So,
because I love Friday morning breakfast.
That sounds good. Maybe by then I'll be eating before lunch.
I hope so, for your sake. Yeah. Okay, here's what I want to do today. And again, if you got ideas or segues or digressions, no problem. Camps Abroad. I want to talk about Camps Abroad a little bit.
You want to tell them what Camps Abroad is?
I do. Do you want to tell them?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Do you want to tell them right now?
I want to tell them right now. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You ready?
Can you please tell me right now? Please.
Camps Abroad is a ministry arm of the Wilds where we help people all over the world who want to establish camps in their country, and they call, and I say we, like we're not the runners of Camps Abroad, but that's a ministry. Dan Brooks, Matt Collier, Tim Endine, Daniel Kroll. Yeah. Their wives. But they also enlist help from us from time to time.
Yes.
So they travel a lot. They are, in fact, Dan, I think his flight got canceled last night, but I think he's leaving today, I hope, for Zambia. So they're gone a lot. But they go and they teach kind of our camping philosophy so that the people in their countries can, just have some help starting. Now, the idea is not that we go in and just like do it all, but we kind of teach them. And then if it works for them and their culture, they run with it. And presumably they run camp for many, many years after we're gone. That's the hope and that's the goal. But from time to time, they will ask some of us, others, to go along with them and help them do the training, run the camp, that kind of stuff. And so we've all had opportunities to be a part of that. So with those, I just want to ask maybe some, it's just going to sound generic. I have a few more specifics I can get to. But anytime you travel, and not just with Camps Abroad, but that's what comes to mind because it's connected to what we do here at camp. There are some, there's some usually unexpected things that happen or some funny things that happen just in regards to being out of place, not used to the culture, the food, the language, whatever it might be. I want to ask for you guys, any memories connected to a Camps Abroad trip for you that really sticks out as something that like, oh yeah, this was either funny, awkward, weird, uncomfortable, anything like that.
I almost died twice in Zambia.
Well, there you go. Would you like to?
Oh, you want me to tell you what that?
Explain.
We were there. It was New Year's Eve. We were with like 200 teens from Zambia doing it was me, Matt Collier, and Bob Roberts. And he's part of the second reason I almost died.
I know that one.
Yeah. And he almost died too.
Really?
Yeah. But we were coming back from, it was after we had rung in the new year with about 250 teenagers from the church there in the area, and we were going back to the missionary's home, which is about 45 minutes away, and the place was crazy, and they had blocked the road. Some of the people from Zambia had blocked the road, and we weren't sure exactly what was going to happen. But the missionary that we were with said, "We're not stopping." It was a red light, and we didn't stop, and he blazed through. So we were I was very fearful of my life at that point. Second thing, at the end of that trip, the missionary was so kind, and he took us to, he wanted us to experience more of the culture down there, so he took us to Victoria Falls, and we actually rafted. Our rafting trip started at the bottom of Victoria Falls, which was unbelievably intense. And so you go over to the bottom of Victoria Falls, it pushes you out, and there were like 13 class 5 plus rapids. Anyway, big river, unbelievably intense. And about halfway through that river, I look across the boat, and Bob Roberts is going just like that. And
for our listeners?
For our listeners.
Oh, if you're not on video, his face was very menacing.
He was just like a creepy smile.
Yeah. And he flew from across the raft, tackled me out of the boat. And listen, this is not just like, just
not
normal.
Banana Halo.
No. There's crocodiles in this water, big ones. And I thought I was going to die. And I was.
Your anger level from 1 to 10.
Oh, it was 10.5. I have never been so mad at Bob in all my life. I don't know if I've ever been so mad, but I thought I was going to die. And I hate cold water. So
period.
Yeah, so I did not want to be in that water anyway. But with anacondas and crocodiles and piranhas. I don't know.
Killer whales, great white sharks,
deadliest animals,
giraffes,
gorillas.
So we did that, but we also did a couple of, which was really dumb. But we went on some safari trips on our own, the place we were staying, and we just basically what it was Bob had a camera. And we went out into the woods, which got back. We realized that was really stupid because there were a lot of things that could have killed us out there. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We got it all on video. So anyway, experiences.
Yeah, there's a few there.
And Bob electrocuted himself.
So I've been on 2 CampsAbroad trips, and they were to the same place. Second one was much better. In fact, Chris, you were with me on that one, so we had a great time. But the first time I went was with Dan, and it honestly was a great visit.
Where'd you go?
Learned a lot. We went to Ghana.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were sorry.
I mean, I knew that, but I just wanted to know.
Yes. We're in Ghana, and honestly, the trip itself was very, I'll say, uneventful in that nothing went wrong.
Sure.
But so what we did was when we got to Ghana, we flew into Accra, and then the next day we flew to Wa, which is at the north end of the country. And that was, convenient. So by the time we flew to where we needed to go, it was only a couple hour drive. Well, to return back to Accra, which is where we needed to fly from to get out of the country, we did not fly. We were going to get a charter bus. And I believe in total, it was scheduled to be a 12-hour bus ride. And so I was like, you know what? We can do this. It'll be all right. So we're on this bus, and I think the bus left around 6 p.m. Okay, so we were going to be driving through the night to get into Accra. So we're driving, and it's bumpy. So like you doze off to sleep, and then all of a sudden you hit a massive pothole or something.
Hopefully not a person.
And you just you about hit your head on the ceiling, and you're shaking awake, and you're.
Was this when your wife was on the trip with you?
No.
Okay.
This was the first time. It was just me and Dan, and I mean, there's all kinds of like little side stories I could tell, but I'll tell you the bigger, better one. This is a bus that seats probably about 30 to 35 people, something like that. And in the middle of the night, after midnight, sometime, the bus just breaks down. It's toast. It's done. And this is my first time being out of the country. So I'm in a foreign land. And in the middle of nowhere, I have no idea where I am. There's only one person I know that
speaks
English. And
at least it's Dan.
Yeah. And yes, it is. Now, I will say this. If there was anybody in the world that I would want to be somewhere with, it is Dan. Dan,
he's traveled a lot. He's well seasoned. He's been there, done
He knows what to do. And so I'm just going to like cling on to Dan and just follow wherever he goes. Well, someone gets on the bus and they say, everyone off, this bus is not going to be fixed. We're going to have to find you another ride. Now remember, there's like 35 of us on this massive bus, and we're thinking they're going to bring us another bus. They bring us a 15-passenger van. And I'm like, where's the other one? If my math is correct, because they start piling on, and I'm looking at Dan, and I'm like, Dan? And I told him this. I said, if my math is correct, we're not getting on this van. Also, they're pulling out all the luggage, because all of these people are traveling down south, and they have massive suitcases. So this 15-passenger van is getting stacked with all of our luggage. I'm watching my bag get sent to the very top of this like
pile,
15-foot
on top of the
mound.
van, right?
Yes, on top of it. And they got cargo nets going over and ratchet straps and everything.
They've done this before. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, Dan, so what do we do? Like, that van is full. And he goes, oh no, it's not. We are getting. So they actually. So you know that little aisle on the left side where people. Okay, those have like
the seats.
Those have like fold out seats.
Yep. Yeah.
And they put 2 people on those. So I fortunately was able to get the window. Okay, but we're talking like I'm pressed against the window.
How many hours left?
Oh, like half the trip. Oh, and maybe that might be an exaggeration. I don't know. It felt like half the trip. But there was a nice African lady that was beside me, and she was tired. And she rested her head right on my shoulder and fell asleep. And so everybody was just, passing out. And so I'm trying to get some sleep. Well, I'm not sure why, but they felt that we needed some entertainment for this ride that was going to go from midnight till, 6 in the morning. And they play African music and very cultural, and we're talking like cranked up about as loud as it could possibly go. And it has a 50-inch TV screen at the front. And so it's like neon light
colors blasting at you
in your face, and it's just blasting. And I'm just like pressed up against the glass trying to, and then someone opens up the window so all the dust is just coming in. But anyway,
wonderful experience.
We survived. We got back, and anyway, it was.
Oh yeah,
it's quite the experience.
That was a fun, memorable ride.
Oh yeah, there's so many things. Honestly, I could pick out a lot of things. One that comes to mind, my very first trip was to China with Dan, and a lot of the people over there. On the last day, we got to do a little bit of sightseeing, which is not always the case on Camps Abroad. Like a lot of times it's in and out. Yeah. But we got to, and that was really, it was honestly really cool. I got to walk on the Great Wall of China. But our little tour bus that we were with, it was Dan and I. There might have been some other, Chinese people. I don't remember. But then they were also having the World Cup of Taekwondo in Beijing at the time. So the Taekwondo, the national team from Senegal was on our bus. And so these are, one guy was like 6'11". These are huge, obviously African men in China. They stand out. Mm-hmm. And so it was just, on the on the Great Wall, I would have parents of, Chinese families put their kids next to me and take pictures, like without asking. They were just like, I was like, oh, smile.
Look at that dude.
Yeah.
Take a picture of that. Yeah. Put that on the fridge.
But then with these guys next to us, it was like, and they're humongous, and they're loving it too. They're like, they're super charismatic, like super fun loving, like fun guys. I think. Maybe they're making fun of us. I couldn't tell what they're saying either, but I couldn't understand them. But yeah, all the people were just staring at them as they, walked the Great Wall. They'd, never seen anything like it, and just picture after picture after picture. I could get into food.
Some good food. Here's some bad food.
Some not so good. Honestly, I'm always like amazed, like, dude, people will eat anything. People will eat. If you're hungry enough, you will eat anything. And I'll say probably the weirdest thing for me that I've eaten was in the Philippines. And it's the thing that a lot of people say is one of the weirder things, but it's balut. So if you don't know what that is the, like, duck egg.
It's a duck.
It's a duck, but it's not fully formed, but it's not fully unformed either. It's not an egg like you would think. Crack it open, put it on the stove.
That.
It's you can see its eyes and its beak and maybe some feathers and like its veiny like head. So you crack. But they love it. They eat it, and it's just kind of one of those things. And these are by the end of this trip, I'm friends with these guys. I like these guys, and it's just kind of like almost a rite of passage. You just kind of do it. And they said, get some Coke ready. That'll kind of like drown it in the acid afterward. And like, honestly, that's what
break it down. Because it's not going anywhere without it.
Otherwise, it might crawl up to the side.
That bird's going to fly out of your stomach.
Yes.
Baby duck.
That was a baby duck.
It'll finish forming in your guts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sure enough, and they tell you, I'm not trying to be gross here, but they'll tell you, like, crack it open. You, like, drink the juice. And then you eat the egg, and it tastes more than anything like an egg, but it's a little more crunchy because you got some
bones,
bones, beak, those kind of things going down, and then you drown it with Coke as fast as you possibly can, which is what I did. So but
I would have done.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
And then they would have rejected you forever.
Yeah.
I probably would have bowed. I don't usually bow to peer pressure.
I
don't do peer pressure at all ever, but I probably would then.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about there's a lot of things about CampsAbroad, but when you go over someplace like I was in southern Mexico, and we were playing basketball after church, and you guys have played basketball with me, okay? So you guys know I'm really good, and but to them,
yes,
I was off the charts.
Oh yeah.
They were like, they were like, oh, I want Michael Jordan on my team. So,
do you play in the NBA? I remember getting asked that in China.
Yep.
Do you play in the NBA? I'm like, no, sure don't.
Yeah, and to be honest, nobody would ever ask me that.
Yeah,
in the United States, but they asked me that in Mexico.
Yeah, it's fun over there.
Like I'm going to move here.
I would be popular here. Star.
Yeah, yep. And I'll say, I love CampsAbroad. There's so many good things, and the people you meet, and honestly, just seeing people all over the world, serving the same God that we serve is awesome.
Yep.
But there's so many there's just automatic, like you can just count. There's going to be some awkward moments.
And it is cool how
time.
camping translates all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's just a neat experience.
Well, I'll tell you one experience I had, and this wasn't necessarily with the camp side of things, but it was a translation thing. Towards the end of our trip, so this was after camp, I started getting a sore throat. Kind of, traveling does that to you sometimes. You just start feeling bad, and
because you're sick.
Yeah, and so I had this really bad sore throat, and
in Mexico, I'm a doctor.
So we're with Dan. We're actually just walking around markets and shopping around and stuff. And I said, "Is there any way I could find a store that would have just cough drops or just something that I could get for my throat, because it's just really bothering me. Plus the dust in the air, it's very dry, and so it was just irritating me really bad." So he's like, "Yeah, there might be like a little pharmacy, around here." And he goes, "I'm gonna go get us an Uber, but I need cell phone service over here. You go down this way and go see if you can find a pharmacy." Well, I find this little booth, and there's this very nice lady that's there, and she did not speak any English whatsoever. This is back in Ghana, by the way. And so I'm trying to communicate, like, sore throat. Do you have any, like, cough drops or something? And I'm, like, trying to, how do you do that? Trying to portray, like, I need you to help me out here. And anyway, she kind of, like, nods and kind of gives me the idea, like, I think I know what you're talking about. So she grabs this little box off the shelf. And she points at it and she goes, you breathe fire. And I'm like, yeah, breathe fire, because my throat's really sore. Yeah. She goes, no, you breathe fire. And I'm like, sure, yeah, my throat's on fire. Yeah, I'll take that, whatever. So she hands it to me and I paid for it. And she tried to get me something else. And I was like, no, this will be fine. This is it. Because I'm thinking it's just throat lozenges, And she says, no, you breathe fire. And I'm like, okay, thank you. This is all I want, So she kind of is just like, all right, dude, whatever. So she bags it up for me, and I go, meet Dan at the Uber that's waiting for us, and I pop one of these things in my mouth.
And breathe fire.
I'm telling you, there's not a pepper on this planet that could equate with the heat that came off of this thing. And I think what it was a type of lozenge that's supposed to kill every
Good
every
or
living
bad thing
every living
inside of you.
cell on the back of your throat.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I could barely stand to keep it in my mouth for more than a minute, and I had to like spit it out. And I was dying. It was suffering. So I'm like,
did Dan try it by any chance?
That's what she meant.
Because
No,
Dan
but
can
I feel like
Take
even
just
by,
about anything.
I feel like even by Dan's standards, he would have said that it was
When we were in
hot.
China, they took us to a restaurant and they gave us the plant that horseradish comes from as an appetizer. It was like and you take it and you bite it. And I'm not kidding you. When you bite into this stuff, it felt like an elf was in the back of your throat with a flamethrower. I mean, it's like nothing. You bite it. Boom! I mean, like explosion.
Sinuses cleared out.
Yes.
Whoosh. Yeah.
We were taking videos because it was like you could not hide the reaction. It's unbelievable, but it was super funny. I mean, it was super funny. I remember one other thing. I was in the Philippines with Matt and Tiffany Herbster and David Schrader. And David had never been, out of the country as far as I know. Certainly hadn't been in the Philippines. Yeah. And I had been there before. Matt had been there before. And it's Sunday morning. We're on a bus with some of these guys that we knew, but David didn't know these guys from anybody. And we go to this church, but I mean, we're driving. It's not any of their church. It's just a church that they knew about. And it's in some city. We're on the bus going, we don't really know where. We're just trusting that these guys are taking us where we need to go like speak or whatever. And bus stops outside of a church and they point and it's like, okay, is that where we're going? They're like, no. And they we sit down and they like, David, you go. And David's like, me? And he's like, yeah, you go. Like, you're going to, and he looks at me because I think Matt and Tiff were actually somewhere else. They were gone. So it's me and David. And no one goes with him. I'm like, I guess you're going to go like give your testimony. Like, I don't know. I'm like, but they're like, yeah, you go and we'll pick you up later. And so literally no one gets off the bus with him. It's his 21st birthday. I'm not kidding you. I'm like, I guess you do what they say, man. Like, just go. So he does. To his credit, I know his eyes were like this big, but he's like, I'm like, just if you trust me, just do it.
I'd have been like,
and so he went in and he walked in the back door, and I guess he survived. We picked him up later, but I just remember thinking like, I'm like laughing inside like so hard because I know he's scared to death, and I'm just like, yeah, well, I guess we'll see you later, or maybe we won't. We'll never hear from you again. But
easy come, easy go.
Yeah, but sure enough, he did fine. And then I went with the guys that I knew, like to the next place, wherever that was.
Nice of you.
Oh, well, it was what they told me to do. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But it was funny.
That is very funny.
Oh yeah, lots of good memories, lots of fun, honestly, and friends. Yes. And good. There's so many good stories, man. So many good stories we could probably delve into, but I think it's about that time.
Yep.
About time to wrap. Yep. And hey, again, if you're not signed up for summer, what are you doing? We want to see you there. Yeah. And let us know. Maybe even if you're coming during the weeks, let us know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, because we're gonna be doing the Happy Camper all summer long. Yeah. So, hope you had a good time. I know we did, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you
Have
later.